This is the video for square 25 of the Rosy Outlook crochet along. All right, so here we are. We've got our chain 36, and the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to single in the second chain from the hook. So 1, 2, we're going to go right in there and just do a single crochet. And then we're going to skip the next 2 chains, 1, 2, and we're going to put 6 double crochets in the next one. So 1, 2, and then we'll go 6 double crochets into that next chain. And this is all just going into the same chain. We're going to make this fan. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So one more. All right. So let's see. There we go. So we've got our single and then our 6 double crochets. All right. So the next step is to skip 2 chains and then put a single crochet into each of the next 2 chains. And then we are going to skip 2 chains, and we're going to put 6 double crochets in the next chain. Create another fan. So 2, 4, 5, that's one more. Okay, and then we're going to skip 2 chains and we're going to do another 2 single crochets, 1 in each of the next 2 chains. Okay, so this is what you should have so far. You have a single in the front and then 6 double crochet fan, and then 2 single crochets, 6 double crochet fan, and then 2 single crochets. And we're just going to keep repeating that. We're going to skip 2 chains, put a 6 double crochet fan, skip 2 chains, and then put 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches until we get to the end. And then I will meet you for the turn. Okay, so here we are at the end, and I have 3 chains left, and we're going to skip 2, and we're just going to put a single in the last one. So the beginning has 1 single and the end has 1 single crochet. So this is what you should have so far. It should be 5 of these fans. All right. So for row 2, we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we are going to turn, and the chain 5 counts as a double crochet and a chain 2. So we're going to skip these first 3 stitches. So the single crochet that the chain 5 is coming out of, and then the first 2 of the double crochets from the fan. Okay, and then we're going to single crochet into the top 2 double crochets of this fan. All right, so if you're looking at the fan, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double crochets, and we're skipping the first 2 and we're going into the middle 2, and then we're going to skip the next 2 again. All right, hopefully that makes sense. And then we are going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to double crochet 1 in each of the next 2 single crochets. So remember we put those 2 singles in between the fans. That's where we're going into. So you see we've skipped the 2 doubles, and then we've skipped those last 2 doubles. All right. And then all the way across, it's basically the same thing. We're going to chain 2. We're going to skip the first 2 doubles and do a single in the top middle 2, and then chain 2, skip those 2, and then 1 double crochet in each of the single crochets. So chain 2, 1, 2, skip the first 2 doubles, and then 1 single in each of the next 2, chain 2, skip the last 2 double crochets, and then 1 double in each of the next 2 singles. And chain 2, and skip 2, and single in each of the next 2, and chain 2, skip 2, and then double in each of the next 2 singles. And then now we are on our last fan, and we're going to chain 2, skip 2, single in each of the next 2, and then for the end here, remember we have a single and then the last 2 doubles. So for that, we're going to chain 2, and we are going to skip the last 2 doubles, and then we're going to double crochet just 1 time in this last single, because we can't do 2 singles because there's only 1, right? All right. So this row basically just flattens out those fans, gives them a little frame. Now row 3, we're going to chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and turn. And once more, this counts as a double crochet and a chain 2. And we're going to skip the chain 2 space, and we're going to do a 2 double crochet cluster across 2 single crochets. Now this one is going to seem a lot more confusing than it really is. All right, so we're going to go, we've got our 2 single crochets, right? So we're going to yarn over, go into the first single, pull up a loop, pull through 2, yarn over, and into the second single, and pull through 2, and then pull through all 3. So it's basically a double crochet 2 together. The way I wrote it is because that's the way the book had it, and I'm trying to stay true to the book that we are using and not change too much. But it's basically just a double crochet 2 together. All right, so next we're going to chain 2 and skip the next chain 2 space, and we're going to put a double crochet in each of the next 2 double crochets. And then chain 2 and skip that chain 2 space, and we're going to work another one of those clusters across the 2 single crochets. and chain 2, and skip that chain 2 and double crochet 1 in each of the next 2 double crochets. Right, and chain 2, and yarn over, go through the first single, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the second single, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then pull through 3, and then chain 2, and we're going to double crochet in each of the next 2 double crochets. And we're going to keep just doing that all the way to the end. So it should look like this. You're going to have your double crochet clusters, and then you're going to have the 2 individual double crochets. Okay, and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, here we are at the end, and what we have left is that chain 5 that we started with in row 2. And so what we're going to do is we are going to do a chain 2, and then we are going to double crochet in the 3rd chain of the turning chain. So because it's a 5, you can count from the bottom or the top, whatever's easiest to you. So 1, 2, 3. We're going to double crochet right into that 3rd one, and there you have it. So pretty easy these last 2 rows, because there's just so much space. We're not doing a ton of stitches. Now row 4, we're going to switch things up. We're going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet in the top of that double crochet, and then we are going to put 2 singles in the next chain 2 space. So that's our chain 2 space, and we're going to put 2 singles in the space, and then we're going to single in the top of the cluster, which is right here, and then to put 2 singles in each of the chain 2 spaces, and single in each of the double crochets, and single crochet 2 single crochets into the chain 2 space, and then 1 single crochet in the top of the cluster. And you're going to keep doing that across. So put 2 singles in the chain 2 spaces, and then 1 single in each of the clusters and double crochets. And I'll meet you at the end. Here we are at the end, and we have this chain 5. And so if you recall, the chain 5 counts as a double crochet and a chain 2. So we're just going to put 2 single crochets like we would in a chain 2 space. And then we're going to single crochet in the 3rd chain from the hook. So 1, 2, and 3. I'm sorry, not 3rd chain from the hook, but 3rd chain of the turning chain. Here we go. I'll do that single. And there you go. We just put singles in all of the stitches, and then all of the chain 2 spaces. So, all right, row 5, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and we're going to put a single crochet in the first single crochet, and then we're going to skip 2 singles, and we're going to put 6 double crochets in the next. Let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we're going to skip 2, and we're going to single in each of the next 2 single crochets. So basically, just like with row 1, we are just going to alternate between the 2 singles and then the fans. So skip 2 and then put 6 double crochets in the next 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then skip 2 and then 1 single in each of the next 2. All right, so that should be familiar to you since you did it in that first row. So just keep doing that and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so just like before, we're going to skip 2 and then we're just going to put a single at in the very last single crochet. And that is the end of row 5. So what you're going to do is you're going to repeat rows 2 through 5 until you get to 23 rows. And then you're going to put your single crochet border on like you do with all the other squares that we've done so far. All right, enjoy.